everybody. Good evening. Good evening. Good evening. I have not been live all week, which feels very, very strange for me as a content creator, as someone who absolutely loves connecting with her tribe, with her community. I love talking to you guys. So I've gone through a little bit of a withdrawal. I've gone through a little bit of a withdrawal as I have been moving and shaking and doing all the things. Business wise, things have picked up. We've also just catapulted back into our homeschooling year. My children are enrolled in different programs this year now instead of maybe us coasting in some different ways last year. Hey, everybody. I have now had to jump in full steam ahead as a homeschooling mom, and I've refreshed my commitment to some things. And so I want to share that with you tonight for our Friday night chat. Okay. Happy Friday. If you are new here, if maybe you're stumbling, hello, Beauty Rebel. Hi, Jamie. If you're new here, I am Christina Garrett. I am your productivity coach. Whether you've worked with me one-on-one or not, I hope to be the voice in the back of your mind, reminding you to take better care of yourself, think about your boundaries, work on your priorities, and live with eternity in mind. That everything that we put our energy into, we don't have to do it. We do not have to do all the things. And so I serve the world as a one-on-one coach with ambitious moms. Good evening. Ambitious moms who have lofty goals and they're walking forward, climbing the ladder in corporate. They're business owners. They are homeschooling moms, but they're women who are ready to go to the next level, but they realize they're spending too much time doing the wrong things. Okay. So that's how I serve the world. I also partner and consult with a various amount of universities and athletic teams and media outlets and all those things. It's my honor to be able to do all of that. Okay. How y'all doing tonight? I haven't been live all week. Like I said, I went through a little bit of a withdrawal. And so I want to know how you guys are doing. Are your kids back in school? How is that? Y'all adjusting all right? I know that we're a homeschooling family. I do the majority of the education for my kids. But this year we made some decisions that we were going to outsource some things. And so my oldest son, who just got into high school, is going to a program where he's getting algebra and English. And at our homeschooling co-op, they're taking psychology and forensic science and mixed media arts and geography and all these other classes that their mother just doesn't want to teach. Okay. I don't want to teach it. So I'm very grateful for the opportunity to be able to plug my kids into some open doors like that. Jamie said that resume is growing. God is good. He is so very good. I'm honored to do some wellness consulting for staff at a Division I university this coming week. A few weeks ago, I was able to present for the Women of Color Coaches Network, and that introed into something else, and then again something else. And so we have some awesome proposals floating around out there in the world, and I'm just excited to be able to serve you guys at the next level. Okay. So this evening, we are going to talk about how it's okay to start over. In fact, I dare to say that it is beautiful. Good evening. It is beautiful to go out on the ledge and engage your heart, your mind, and your spirit with the beauty of starting over. I want you guys to envision me, okay? Now, when I go running, I don't look like this, okay? Now, I might have a t-shirt or something on. Hi, Lude. I might have a t-shirt or something on, but mostly it's one of my zip-up runner things, some leggings. I take this front puff of my hair. I put it up into a ponytail. Y'all hear me? I look real ratchet when I go run. I pull my hair up into a ponytail, and I head out the door, knowing that if you're looking at me, you shouldn't. Okay. If you're paying attention to little old me going down the road, I'm going to need you to divert your eyes. I do not get hit on when I go run. Okay. I am not hit on when I go run. Why? because I straight up look like homegirl from around the way. I do not look like any part of a lady. I just gird myself all up and I go full steam ahead, okay? And so this week, I took time off. Excuse me. Last week, I was hit with taking time off from my running schedule, okay? If you asked me what reasons I had for being inconsistent with my running, I wouldn't have one. Let it sit, let it simmer. If you ask me reasons why I was not efficient and together and moving forward and all the things, baby, I don't even have a reason. I don't even know why I was falling off. You know, you could blame the weather, but then you look outside, it's cloudy, but it's not that cloudy. It could rain. I guess I can't go because it could rain. Oh my goodness, my shoes. One day my shoes actually were in the van and my husband took the van, so I couldn't run. I had all of these reasons why what I intended to do, I didn't do. Last night, I was texting my best friend. I said, "Did you go run?" And best friend said, "No, I didn't. I don't even have a reason why I didn't. I just didn't go." Have you ever been that person who you may have decent reasons, you may have dysfunctional reasons, a whole myriad of things, but you have these reasons why you're taking pauses, being inconsistent, not doing things intentionally or on purpose? You may not even have a reason why. You may not even have a legitimate reason why you're falling off. Lou said, and am. That's because you skipping sessions. You're supposed to be in my box every week. In my inbox. Okay, we all have these reasons why we pop up with inconsistency. I didn't even have a legitimate reason why. There was no real reason. But I just, oh my gosh, it's too windy. I had every reason in the world. Do you hear me? Weren't good ones, but I had them. Reasons why I kept falling off, going there and then falling off, okay? And so I want to talk tonight for a few minutes about the beauty of starting over. The beauty of starting over. The beauty of remembering what you want, why you want it, and then if you've been inconsistent or you feel like you didn't execute it in the way that you should or you could, it's okay if you start over. I dare to say that sometimes we feel dismayed, discouraged, frustrated with ourselves because we didn't do what we were supposed to do or give what we were supposed to give. So then we look at ourselves like I'm less than, I'm dysfunctional in some reason. There's something wrong with me. Y'all, I am literally a productivity coach. All I do is talk about time management, balance, and wellness. That's it. And guess what? Some days it is hard to motivate yourself. Y'all hearing me today? Some days it's hard to motivate yourself, to push yourself to become that person. To become that person. So let's talk about reasons why we may have fallen off. Let's talk about some reasons why we may have fallen off. Maybe you procrastinated and you missed the deadline. I'm someone that I believe if a desire or a dream does not have a date on it, if a dream does not have a date, then you are merely hoping and wishing. And everybody in the world has hopes and wishes. Everybody in the world has hopes and wishes. What makes your desire, your dream, any different than anybody else's? So what we do sometimes is we will say, hey, I procrastinated. I missed the deadline. I told myself I was going to do this by the end of summer, and I haven't done it. I didn't do it. I told myself I was going to make this amount of money. I was going to reach out to these amount of people. I was going to show up in this way. I was going to be more consistent. I was going to deliver in this way. You told yourself and you put a date on it. And then as you put a date on it, you realized I didn't take into account my humanity. I did not take into account the fact how human I am. That sis falls off sometimes. So sometimes I will recommend the Couch to 5K running plan for clients who have a dream of dropping a couple pounds, right? They want to drop a couple pounds. They want to learn how to be consistent. So I say, hey, start with the Couch to 5K running plan. It's only 30 minutes, 3 days a week. If you're looking to be more consistent and show up more, and you have a tangible, actionable plan, then I suggest the Couch to 5K running plan. I said, but you can't just download the app. You cannot just download the app. No, sis, you have to take $25. You got to take $25, go to active.com and pay for a 5K race. Why? You got to pay for the race because if you don't, you're going to back out. If you don't pay for the race, you are going to find a way, find a reason. And so in the mix of us being human, I'll say the training plan is 9 weeks long. But what about the days when you don't feel good? What about the days when your schedule goes haywire? What about the days when it's raining or you just can't make yourself get up and get out the door? What about those days? I said, so I generally say take 13 weeks, 14 weeks from your start date instead of the 9. Instead of 9 weeks, take 13 or 14 to leave space for your humanity. So some of us, we have been working on some things and we have missed the deadline. Some of us, we have put our goals out in front of us and we feel as though I told myself I was going to do this by this date and I didn't. And because of that, I'm now frustrated with myself that I have to set a new day, set a new time in order to show up and excel well. Okay. Here's some other reasons why we may be starting over. You're inconsistent. Can we own up to it? Wave at me in the comments if you see yourself in this, where you start and then you stop and then you start and then you stop and then you might start and stop again before you finally find your groove, before you find some ways around those things that used to trip you up, before you find a way to overcome your own excuses, or I dare to say you get sick of yourself. There's a certain place in life that we all hit when we get tired of ourselves. I have some ladies who come to me and they want to coach with me or partner with me. And then later on they say, hey, you know what? It's not the investment. Hey, Victoria, I see you, sis. It's not the investment. We could say it is. It's okay. It's not the investment to work with a coach, somebody that's in your corner all the time, pushing you, holding you accountable, and helping you to create a plan. It's not that. Sometimes we are so against not change, but loss. A pastor, Frank Kennedy, we went to a Pastors and Pastors Wives Summit this past weekend. And one of the things he shared is you see the church mother, the auntie, the trustee, these church members who are avidly, violently against the pastor coming in to change stuff. And he said, it's not that they don't want to redecorate that pew. It's not that they don't want to change the classes. He said they're grieving the loss of what they used to know. Can I say that sometimes we start and we stop because we are grieving the loss of the old us? Can we say that sometimes we resist changing? You have somebody that comes into your life and tells you, I see where you can go. I see what can happen, but I got to change who I am in order to be them. I don't know if I'm ready for that. I don't know if I can handle that. I don't know if that's even for me. I hear my dog. So instead of us going full steam ahead and engaging in this change, we sit so far in the loss of it. We sit so far in what I'm going to lose as a result of changing that we don't sit in what I'm gaining as a result of changing. So we end up starting and stopping and then starting and stopping. And then we take a break from our starting and stopping. And then we start and stop again. This is what we do. It's okay. This has been me with my running all year. I will make it to week 4 of my training plan. The training plan only 6 weeks, y'all. I just want you to know I have the same tendencies with certain things. I'll make it to week 4. Ooh, this is getting hard. I really don't want to go outside. So I will skip a day. And the skip a day will turn into 2 days. And I committed this week that I was going to see it through. And it's hard. It's really hard. And I go out there and I run and I say, have I ever been in shape in any day of my life? Have I ever been in shape? Yeah, I have. But you got to go and release the loss. This is who you want to be. And this is so much better than the person nothing wrong with the person that you are, but I'm not settled here. I don't want to stay here. I know that I'm meant to evolve. I'm meant to grow. I'm meant to change. And my body, my mind, my spirit is going to resist this change. Another reason that we start and stop, or we have to start over, is because life, grief, busyness can get in the way. We have our kids, so we may take breaks because of the things they have going on. We may have experienced loss or grief in some way, a loss of a family member, loss of a job position, loss of your independence in some way. There's a myriad of ways that you can experience loss. But I'm stepping in today to say, once we identify it, what are we going to do about it? Once we identify and we know that this is the place where we're struggling, what are we going to do now? And I also want to add that sometimes we lose our focus. Sometimes we start and stop and we resist starting over because we're not focused. Good evening. We're not focused on where we could be. We're so busy sitting in where we are, where we think we should be, so that we are feeling stuck. Okay. And so I want you all to remind yourself of something this evening. And I had to, at one point, beating myself up, right? Some of us, this is what we do. We say, I should be this person. I could be here. And we look at ourselves as if we are still inadvertently behind, when in reality, we could be moving so much further ahead if we weren't enthralled in imposter syndrome, punishing ourselves what we didn't do before. You ever overate on the weekend? And so come Monday, when you get back in the gym, when you start back working out, you're trying to do triple to work off that piece of cake. The same thing. And so we have to remind ourselves. We have to remind ourselves that it's okay for me to evolve and to change and to do differently. I have to be that person. It's mandatory of me at this point. It's mandatory of you at this point. To think that starting over is a bad thing, when sometimes we have to say, you know what, this is for me. So let me just go back to the drawing board. Let me figure out where I got stuck the last time. Maybe I didn't have enough accountability. Maybe I didn't tell the people in my community that this is the goal that I have. Maybe I'm being inconsistent with my support or with my partners that are coming alongside me to make this thing work. How am I self-sabotaging? Man, now that I'm busier, y'all hear me? Now that I'm busier, I have reallocated my entire schedule to make sure that on select days, all we do is homeschooling. No meetings, no podcast interviews, no media interviews, all this extra stuff. No, we're not doing any of that. These days it's schoolwork. right? Because I'm a homeschooling mom, but also a work at home mom. So I had to tell myself, okay, Chris, you got to be a different person this year. You have to be a different person. You're allowed to change and to cultivate and to birth something new. But what we do is we start and then we stop and then we start and then we stop and then we come back again and we're just going in a circle. We're going in a circle, okay? So I want to remind you this evening, and I had to tell myself this. Good evening, ladies. I had to tell myself this week, that no matter how many times you have to start over, even if your body doesn't feel sharper, your mind is sharper. Even if your body doesn't feel different, your mind is different. Your maturity is different. Your expertise is different. Every time you have to come back to it and work on it again, every time you have to start over and feel like you're going back to workout one, day one, the first year of college again, the first time at a new position. I have a book. The name of the book is I Could Do Anything If I Knew What It Was. I could do anything I put my mind to if I actually knew what I was putting my mind to. And in this book, they say everything is possible if you're willing to be a beginner. Anything is possible if you're willing to be a beginner. And so Victoria says, my mom recently passed away. Our condolences. We are so sorry for your loss. We're sorry for your loss. She says, I'm learning to give myself grace through this grief process. You know, when I lost my dad, it threw me all the way off. All the way off. I mean, no words. There were no words because I was believing God for a different outcome. So it took me time to grow through it, to grieve, and to trust God again. One of our Facebook ladies says she's sorry for your loss, Victoria. It took me time to trust God again. And I know somebody's like, oh, you're the pastor's wife. You should be the first person in line to talk about trusting God and all these things. And in reality, we got to give ourselves grace. Just like Victoria said, going through this process, working and nurturing ourselves through the process, we got to be gentle with ourselves. Gentle with ourselves. Okay? And so somebody on Facebook, I'm sorry, I can't see your name. They say you have some good books, Christina Garrett. Do y'all see behind me? If the Garretts don't do anything else, we're going to read and grow and learn on purpose. And then on the side of my desk is like a whole nother, pile of books and things. It's crazy. It's crazy. Okay, so what we want to do, hey T, what we want to do instead of focusing on being perfect at things, okay, we want to give ourselves the grace to experience love, experience God's life, you know, all these things. Hi, Adrian. In order to grow, okay, so this evening, as we embrace how beautiful it is to start over, we will no longer punish ourselves. Can we create a pact tonight? Can we create a pact this evening that says we will no longer punish ourselves for starting over? We will no longer shame ourselves if we fell off the wagon in some way. Because sometimes life comes and rolls up behind you and just clubs you over the head with a bat. And you're like, oh my gosh, I just woke up and realized what happened. And so instead of us sitting there in that place for these long, consistent periods of time, let's pick today together as a group. Okay, we have a Facebook group called Organize Your World with the Mamathon Divas, okay? Come into that group. Share in that group. In what way are you starting your goal over without being shamed, without feeling bad, without punishing yourself? When I go out to go running, y'all, nobody's out there but me. No one is out there but me. But somehow I will find a way, right? I will find a way to make myself feel bad for not being at a certain place. Nobody's there but me. Who's shaming me? Is there somebody that's running up behind and saying, "Ooh, girl, I see you back on week 1 again"? No, there's nobody out there but me. And so what we have to ask ourselves is, am I willing to forgive myself? And I didn't even consider all of this when I started. That's how you know sometimes God is just shifting things. Am I willing to forgive myself for what I did do, for what I didn't do, for what I allowed? Some days I will allow my wonderful, handsome chocolate husband, y'all. He will pull me back in the bed. I'm like, oh, this just feels so good. Oh my goodness, this just feels so great. And I'll be right back in the bed instead of getting up to put my shoes on and go run, knowing that I will not have any space the rest of the day. I got 5 kids to be educated. 5. I run a business where I speak and I coach and I work with women like you guys one-on-one to help you all create the plan, get accountability for it, and walk with you through to the success of those goals. Okay? We're doing all of this. And I'm a pastor's wife. And I'm a regular wife. There's a lot going on over here. Okay? And so I know in my soul, baby, you better get up and do what you need to do. You better get up and pull it together. But on the mornings when I don't, there's nobody else out there running with me but me. And I will, we find a way to bad talk ourselves in our own minds. I look crazy doing this. I look silly. I'm all out of breath, y'all. My hair be up in a puff on the top of my head. I look all kind of crazy. Back to week 1 again. Back to the start again. But what would happen if we didn't shame ourselves for our starting place? What would happen if we gave ourselves grace to go back to the drawing board and learn again and perfect it again and do better? What would happen if you valued your progress over doing it perfectly? Where you said, yes, I did leave the house and I did go running, even though I didn't do all the intervals nonstop, or even though I didn't go through school nonstop, or I didn't serve all the clients in the world, or do whatever it is that you do nonstop or perfectly. I did make progress. I made progress. I moved forward. I healed. I changed. I got more mature. I worked on me. All of these things have to come into play. Forgiving ourselves for starting over, calling it beautiful because I'm sharpening myself versus shaming myself. I want you guys to remember that progress is a jagged road. And as we move towards being more progressive, it's not just going to be smooth going straight up like an airplane taking off on a sunny day. Instead, it will probably be more like some turbulence along the way as you move forward and you work on growing and changing and developing and becoming the version of her, like the version of you that you really want to become as you're working on that. Being okay with remembering there's turbulence on your way to the top. The learning lessons, my God, the learning lessons. And I'm going to testify at the conference this year, October 28th through the 30th in Atlanta, Georgia. Okay? Don't act like you ain't been told. Come hang out. Shoot me a DM. I got a coupon code for you. Okay? So in this process, these lessons learned, if I had stopped If I had stopped at year 3, I never would have made it to the beauty of what's happening in year 7. I never would have made it there. I would have given up and thrown in the towel way before then. I would not have stuck with it. I would have quit. I was gonna quit. For multiple years, I was like, I will never do this again. I just can't handle it. And I had to learn and start over again and apply what I learned in those years past into these current years so that I could kill the game in my own way. Okay. So progress is a jagged journey. It's a jagged road. You got to choose progress over the perfection of doing it the Instagrammable way. Showing up in such a way that it seems like everyone else has it together and you're the one that's disgruntled or jacked up or broken. That's not the case. In fact, the starting and stopping and getting frustrated is something that happens to the very best of us. And you have to forgive yourself for the times when you did not execute like you could, and then clean it up and do it better today. And then I also want you to remember that nobody climbs perfectly. Nobody goes and gets to take, maybe there's a few people that got to take the elevator to success, but the majority of us are out here taking the stairs. The progress, the growth, the learning lessons, most of us do not get to take the elevator to the top. They have to take the stairs. We're out here taking the stairs, which means that you are not exempt. You hear me, baby? You are not exempt from having to do the work. Now, you can bring me on, work with me as your coach, and we get there faster. You're still going to get there. How fast and how many edges you have left when you arrive might be different, but you're still going to achieve your goal because God, that's your purpose. You're going to be successful. You're going to win. Somebody out there might be like, listen, if you don't work with me, you won't. Yeah, you will. If you're here in this platform, you got something special going on with you. But you don't get to take the elevator to the top and go around the fact that failure in some way is a guarantee. How many times I think I pitched Essence and didn't get no reply? I wasn't ready. I had to configure myself, work on my brand. But baby, when they called me, I was like, it's about time. And then when they called me back again, I was like, I'm glad y'all getting with the program. The mission and the joy behind doing what you love. But honey, sometimes it comes with some bumps and some bruises and some failure intact. But it's progress over perfection. It's remembering that in order to progress, you're going to have a rocky road. It's going to happen. It's inevitable. Okay. But with the right resources, tools, community, strategy, plan, you can get there and it be significantly smoother. I was looking, I don't think this particular client is watching tonight. We were going over her public relations strategy. And I was, somebody reached out to me about asking me to hire them for PR. And everything that she was talking about doing, y'all, this was like a handful of hours for the work. It was thousands of dollars. And I was literally teaching all of those principles to my client as a part of her package for family organization and work and creating her brand or growing her brand and all these things. I said, I'm literally teaching that to her already. But we working together for 6 months, not 3 hours. I said, OMG. I said, well, listen, let sis charge what she's going to charge. But it made me feel good that I was giving my clients the right direction, right? So what we want to do is focus ourselves, narrow our minds down and say, hey, I know that this is who I can become. I know that I'm not releasing my full potential. I know that there's bigger for me, more for me, and I don't want to take the scenic route the long way around. in order to get there. Okay. The sooner you climb over your pitfalls, your mistakes, the mess ups, and all that stuff, the sooner you will get to your destination. And sometimes we sit so long in those feelings and in those emotions that it takes us a month to bounce back. What else could you have been doing with that month? Oh, I got a rejection email. Oh, they don't want to be bothered with me. If this person said no, that must mean everybody's going to say no. If this person doesn't see my value, if they don't want to invest in this way, that must mean nobody will want to invest. That must mean nobody wants my product. Nobody wants me to serve them in this way. And we take that and we run with it. And we let that one negative situation or those however many times you fell backwards be an indication of your value as a person. And that's where we have to break that down. That's what we have to say, okay, I'm not going to subscribe to that anymore. Instead, I'm going to do the necessary work. I'm going to show up to put the effort in. I'm going to be okay with doing the work and taking the stairs so that I can grow and become who God wants me to be. And so tonight, as we wrap up, I want you to remember progress over perfection. And it's okay if you missed a deadline. It's okay if you got into a love relationship with procrastination for a while. It's okay if life hits you hard and you're grieving. You've experienced loss, disappointment, chaos in your life. It's okay if you lost your focus. But now your coach wants you to pick yourself up and work on it again and go back to it again and labor and pray over it again and believe again for something big, something major. That it's time, that the time is now, and the woman is you. The woman is you. We're waiting on it. We're looking for it. We need you. Listen, we need you to believe in yourself. We need you to believe in yourself because the world needs what you have. We need you to have faith. We need you to do the work because it's supposed to be so much bigger than this single moment. My husband recently, as under the direction of the Holy Spirit, closed his business and left his job. He walked away. And now he's doing full-time ministry, full-time leadership development, full-time. His phone been buzzing off the chain. Off the chain. I said, but baby, sometimes you have to believe in yourself first in order to move and grow to that next level. In order for you to become that person and serve in that way and show up in all of your brilliance, we're waiting on it. We need it. We need you to believe in yourself. Your belief is directly attached to your results. And there are days when I get on the phone with my clients and they don't believe it in themselves. And I tell them, you're just going to have to borrow my confidence in what I see until you feel it yourself. Until you feel it deep down inside. Like I see it in you and on you. I was like, that's what I see when I look at you. When you tell me about that book, about that project, about that vision, I see big. I see big. And sometimes y'all have to borrow my confidence in who you are in order for you to grab the baton and keep on running. And that's okay. That's okay. But we need you to keep believing. We need you to do the work. We need to see you show up so we can glean and grow and shift from the results and the value that you provide. Okay, so that is it for tonight. As always, my DMs are open. If you are an ambitious mama who wants to get more done without feeling overwhelmed or burned out, if you're a superstar diva who is climbing the ladder in whatever your sphere of influence is, and you know that you need to organize this overflow that's in your life, if you realize that all of a sudden God has been answering your prayers right and left, and you're sitting here with this overflowing basket of blessings, this overflowing basket of blessings, and you're like, God, what am I supposed to do with all this? You gave me everything I asked for. Sometimes we got to sit back and think of it just like that. We're feeling overwhelmed. We're tripping out a little bit. Victoria, I see you, girl. God has literally answered prayers. You're like, oh, this house is overwhelming. God gave you the bigger house you asked for. Man, my husband is so needy. Sis, you used to be single in the bed by yourself. Lord, these children. And then you forget. There was a day when you wondered if you could have kids. Or if, you started having complications. And all you prayed for was for them babies to get into the world. That's all you prayed for. So what we're looking at now, good evening, ladies, what we're looking at now is an overflow of the abundance of what God has given you. And now you got to look down at it and say, how am I going to organize this overflow, this abundance, this life? And so I'm honored. I consider it an honor to work with such influential, ambitious superstar women. I'm talking about Division I athletic coaches, lawyers, doctors, politicians, actresses, phenom women who know what they want, but now we got to figure out, how am I going to get it? Now I have to figure out, how do I organize all of this so that I can fully step into my womanhood, the role that I play in my family, and how I'm supposed to serve the planet. I got to do all of this. This is a lot. So we help you to get all that together, okay? So if you need support, if you need help, if you need somebody who can help you strategize and formulate that, we now have openings for 3-month and 6-month coaching partnerships, okay? I'm going to be right here. I'm not about to quit this job and go do anything else because I love my ladies and I love what I am honored to do, okay? So feel free to slide in my DMs and say, hey, Christina, I need support. If 6 months isn't feasible for you, babe, you can get the 3 months. But either option that you choose comes with a ticket to the Mamathon conference, and you and I will work together and strategize every single week to help you build the life that you have been craving, okay? So that's it for the evening. I love you guys so much. I'm about to go drink me some tea. I don't know if y'all hear this in my voice. Y'all hear that? You hear that? I don't know what that is, but we rebuke it in the name. Okay. I love you guys. You're phenomenal. If no one else has told you yet today, sis, you got it going on. You got it going on. Everything that you need, you have. You got what you need. The Lord is your shepherd. You have what you need. But now you have to take action on it. Okay, so thank you guys for joining me tonight. Feel free to slide in my DMs if you just want to share about your family, see if coaching with me is a good fit for you. I would love to talk to you and just get to know you better. And then aside from that, the Mamathon conference is October 28th through the 30th. That's 2 months away. So you got time to get you a little Spirit plane ticket if you need to Atlanta or Delta, however you like to fly. Come down to Atlanta, fellowship with us. All the information is tagged on the Facebook business page. Thank you, Lude. On the Facebook business page for you guys to get information about the event, or you can slide in my DMs and I'll give you the link so you can grab your ticket. Okay. Love y'all so much. Be blessed, be favored, and be an action taker. All right. We'll talk to you guys tomorrow.